After such a demoralizing loss and with their most important bench piece out, I honestly thought that this team was ready to roll over and die. And well,
for the tie. Oh, Zubac is on him. And this is for the win.
Oh, it's close. They're going to call
it.
Did he beat the
buzzer? Did Gordon beat the buzzer?
They're going to take a look at it. But the official, Sean Wright, signaled.
The ball was deemed to get out of Gordon's hands right before the LED light. This is a successful basket, and the game is over.
The Nuggets have won!
They steal one in LA, and they have taken back home court advantage, and suddenly, things are looking up. So, what did Denver do to swing the series back in their favor, and what can LA do to do just the same in Denver in Game 5, as after the first 4 games are split, Game 5 is usually the one that decides the series. Hello everybody, welcome to Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. Seriously, I recorded this again. I recorded 3 videos and the audio was messed up and I didn't check it a single time, and it's my fault and I'm dumb, but still please drop a like and give me sympathy. Real quick, before I get into the game coverage, I do want to give some quick apologies to Russell Westbrook and Michael Porter Jr. because I didn't realize that they were playing hurt in Game 3. I just didn't catch that on the broadcast. Sometimes I miss some important context and I should probably double check like injury reports and stuff before I go in. So an oversight on my part. Now, my 3 questions going in. Number 1, will the Denver Nuggets get more out of their supporting pieces? Number 2, if the Clippers have a down shooting game, how will they handle it? And number 3, will Jokic finally go for at least 30-plus points? No Russell Westbrook in this one, as a result of that injury I just mentioned. The Denver Nuggets, similar to Game 3, started the game pretty strong. Halfway through the first, they had a 15-6 lead, the largest lead they had gained in the series to that point, though it would grow larger. Aaron Gordon, also like in Game 3, came out of the gates really strong. He would score 7 points in the quarter on 3 of 4 shooting. The story of the first for LA and for much of the game was the Nuggets punishing their bad shooters, or if you want to flip it the other way, LA's not reliable shooters failing to punish the defense for sagging. Dunn shot 38.5% on 4.3 three-point attempts per game over the first 3 games, but he would start 0 for 2 on wide-open corner jumpers, with more to follow. Kawhi still had not managed to find his Game 2 jumper. He would go 0 for 3 on short mid-range jump shots, but he would get a pair of finishes, first faking out Jokic on the baseline for a reverse, and here he would at least get something out of Chris Dunn bricking a 3, sailing in for the putback dunk, looking spry while he does it. Zoo and Powell each scored 5 points, Zoo with a Kareem-esque hook in the lane, as well as an and 1, and Powell off of a catch-and-shoot 3 and a Euro step layup in the half court. Bogdanovic would also hit his first 3, a good sign as he has been terrible in the series thus far, and literally the next possession after that, Harden would steal it from Conchar just past half court, and then Simmons would corral it and make it all the way. I actually hadn't considered till that very play just how funny it is that Ben Simmons and James Harden ended up on the same team. Vlatko Konchar got 2 minutes in the first, and all he did was turn over the ball. Maybe not the hero that they were looking for, and it really shows their desperation for somebody to do something off of the bench. But nevertheless, Denver would close with the momentum in the end. After Harden would turn it over to force the pass to Zoo up court, sending it sailing out of bounds, the Nuggets got to inbound at their bench because of that dumbass pass with 1.9 seconds left, and Jokic takes full advantage here with the deep 3-pointer. Denver leads 27-22. Considering this game was decided by a buzzer beater, you could argue that that dumb turnover from James Harden is literally the reason they lost the game. The Nuggets started the second quarter without Jokic. In his place was, of course, DeAndre Jordan, which fucking blows, but at this point it is what it is. By the 8.5-minute mark, Batum would hit a 3 in transition to tie it up at 31, with the other points coming from 2 layups from Derrick Jones Jr. Meanwhile, Jamal Murray couldn't buy a bucket all game, not because he was blowing good opportunities, but because he just wasn't getting them. But hey, when you think about it, losing a 5-point lead in 3 minutes and 30 seconds is actually pretty good as far as the non-Jokic minutes go for this team. Of course, Jokic would then check in and suddenly everything was fine. Immediately, Denver would go on a 7-0 run as Brown on this one gets this easy dunk in transition. Jamal Murray also finally got a shot to drop with Jokic taking some pressure off of him, though it came with a caveat. Murray gets Zubac switched onto him and nails a mid-range shot to beat the shot clock, but this is the L that sometimes oftentimes is associated with a mismatch. Oftentimes, if they inbound quick enough, you can end up with the same matchup on the other end of the floor, and that happens here, and there's no way for Murray to stop Zubac. They both scored 2 points, but one was tough offense, the other was easy offense. Over multiple possessions, easy offense is going to win. LA, for the most part, was still consistently generating better looks, and shots like Michael Porter Jr.'s step-back three or Aaron Gordon mid-range pull-ups, those need to keep going in more than they're not if Denver is going to keep up. As for LA's offense, Batum's magical three-point shooting of the first 3 games seems to have disappeared. That 3 he made was his only on 4 attempts in the quarter. Dunn would finally hit on the elbow, not the corner, but he'd miss his other 3-point attempt. A posturing fight actually briefly turned into a real one at the very end of the second because Harden hit Gordon in the face / neck, like here-ish, I don't know. Aaron Gordon wanted blood after that, but he was held back from doing any real damage by his teammates. No one ended up getting kicked out of the game, but Brown, Gordon, Jokic, Harden, Powell, and Dunn were all given technical fouls as Denver leads into the half 50-48. Halfway through the third, Denver would actually push their lead all the way into the double digits. This free throw line floater from Jokic capped off a 9-2 run from Denver. LA briefly stopped the bleeding by taking advantage of Jokic being outside of the paint. I really just don't know how Jokic high on screens is the move here because Zoo has feasted on it in a handful of occasions because it leads to easy mismatches, especially since LA has been more patient on the entry pass, which they've started rough on. And it would bite them again in the next possession. Jokic, high out of the pick and roll, tries to jump and tip the Harden pass to Zoo down the lane, but it goes through. Aaron Gordon is able to step up there, and that's the part of the scheme is that a big forward will help, but he's still in a vulnerable position because Zoo is able to hit Kawhi Leonard on the cut here. Zubac was great playmaking-wise all game. He finished with 6 assists. All Jamal Murray could do helping in that position was turn what would have been an open dunk into an and-one reverse layup. Just simply having a bigger body at the rim would make all the difference on a play like that. That said, they still had a pretty good defensive quarter. So, what do I know? Really, this is the only hole in the defense that LA has been able to identify, but they've done a pretty damn good job of doing their best to take advantage of it. James Harden struggled in the first half, but that only continued into the third. Only 2 points that he got at the line. He missed 2 shots and got a turnover all in 12 minutes. Overall, he has just 6 points in 27 minutes of action. Batum also proved to be ice cold, missing a further 2 3-pointers, both of which were wide open. Denver really picked it up at the tail end of the third quarter. Brown hits his first 3-pointer and takes the lead up to 16 points. He's been the guy that steps up in the scoring department, even if his efficiency has been bad, so good for him. Oh, and of course, Jokic was doing Jokic shit. He had 16 in the quarter, the exact type of scoring takeover that he needed to make happen to make this a competitive series. At the end here, MPJ fakes the 3, then steps in and hits the long 2, and that puts the lead to 20 points. The possession right before this, Jokic stopped Zubac at the rim, because he's big as hell, you see. 35-17 was the advantage in favor of Denver in the scoring department after this one, as they lead by 20 going into the fourth, 85-65. This game should be in the bag, right? There should be nothing left for me to say. Well, LA would play Derrick Jones Jr. 4.5 minutes into the fourth, and he would miss a 3, a short mid-range, and a long mid-range, and then he would sit out for the rest of the quarter. Now, normally they would switch to Dunn here, but instead they decided to close with Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's been better in this game. Still not good, not really, but the bar is in hell with him based on how he started this series. But LA got tired of their offense getting broken up by the non-shooters, so with Bogey, Harden, Norm, Kawhi, and Zoo, LA would close the quarter incredibly strong, the only poor shooter in there being the guy who's right next to the basket anyways. Harden gets a tough and one here that may have been a travel, or maybe the travel happened after the foul. Either way, it cuts it to 15. And after this shot went in, I really started to feel like a comeback was coming. Harden on the next possession would get another tough layup to drop, and that was now a quick 11-2 run from LA. Kawhi and Aaron Gordon would then exchange a pair of fadeaways. Then a Norman Powell 3 would cut the lead to just 10. Kawhi then stole it from Jamal Murray, and in transition, he would dunk the ball to cut it to 8. An 18-4 run now. Not only was LA firing on all cylinders on offense, but their defense was also really impactful as they decided to close with a zone. And for the most part, it worked, and Denver looked frazzled. But in his biggest shot of the game, Murray wouldn't choke it this time, hitting a huge three. It took Denver 21 seconds to break the zone here, but they finally did it. He also hit a midi the possession before it, so when it mattered most, Jamal Murray did show up for Denver when they were in dire straits. Then Norman Powell would hit a pair of corner threes, cutting the lead to 1, making it 3 3-pointers for him in the quarter. They would get another stop, then would miss another shot, but of all people, Bogdan Bogdanovic would swoop in with an insane offensive rebound over Jokic. He then puts it back with the reverse, and LA takes the lead. LA was now on a 32-9 run in order to mount this fourth quarter comeback. Jokic got fouled on the other end and split his pair of free throws. Kawhi would miss a pair of threes, both of which would have probably put this game away, so Denver got the ball back and put it in the hands of their best player. Jokic would land this post fadeaway over Zoo. The footwork here is nuts. There's like nothing you can really do about a shot like this. LA wouldn't waste a second getting up another shot, however, as Harden would quickly drive inside, miss a layup, but Zoo would tip it back in to tie the game at 99. Just like the possession before, the Nuggets wanted to live or die by Jokic's late game decision making. I don't know if he made the best choice here, as Jokic takes a Chambord shuffle, step back, fadeaway 3-pointer, and he airballs it. But out of nowhere, it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Aaron Gordon, and he catches it and he dunks it in. Now, there was a whole long period here of trying to determine if this shit was valid or not, and the broadcast kept fucking up the correct clip, and it was very bothersome, but eventually, after a few minutes, it was made clear, and they decided that the field goal was good. So the Nuggets escape in LA with a win kind of sucked the momentum out of the arena that it was such a debate if the play worked or not. It kind of would have made it cooler, but at the end of the day, crazy way for a game to end, and they now have to go into Denver in a tied series for Game 5. Denver wins 101-99, and let me just say this, I'm not envious of the ref who had to call that. Like, that was as close of a call at the buzzer that I've ever seen. Now, for my 3 questions revisited, will the Nuggets get more out of their supporting pieces? Yes, there were 3 guys in double figures besides for Jokic and Murray. Aaron Gordon with a really efficient 15, MPJ with 17 and 4 3-pointers, Brown with 17 on 19 shots. I forgive the efficiency because of the need for that volume, because in Game 3, Aaron Gordon's 15 on 16 shots was the only guy besides for Jokic and Murray who got in the double figures. So I'll take 3 dudes other than Jokic and Murray getting in the double figures instead of 1. Brown and Aaron Gordon also got 5 assists each, so good on them there. If the Clippers have a down shooting game, how will they handle it? Well, not super well. I think they realized that they were at a shooting deficit a little bit too late. Like, that Bogdanovic lineup got it close. I wouldn't say it saved the day, though. Maybe that is something we see them go with more, though, as a result of how well they closed with it. Will Jokic go for at least 30 plus points? Yes, and thank God he did, because they needed all 36 of them. For some notes on the Denver Nuggets, Jokic with 36, 21, and 8, as well as 3 stocks on 65% true shooting. He's still the best player in the NBA. There's not really that much else to say. He just keeps doing the same shit that he always does. Unstoppable hook shot, great dimes all game. I felt like he especially had a phenomenal game passing the ball into the paint, like interior passes. There were like 6 different layups for Christian Brown that he got because Jokic just threw a fucking laser. Aaron Gordon and MPJ both had great games, with those guys contributing to the scoring. I think this team can replicate a lot of the success they had in the past, because that was the formula before. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic score the ball pretty well, like very well rather, and assist the ball very well, and Aaron Gordon and MPJ feast on said assists very well. But Aaron did a bunch of self-creation in the third game, and Michael was bad in the third game in large part due to injury. Both of them were great in this one, and Aaron didn't end up taking like 10 mid-range shots that were dumb, because what else were they going to do? I do want to highlight that there was also a crazy pass from Gordon behind his back to Jokic, who would get fouled. Like, didn't count as an assist or nothing, but probably the craziest pass I've seen in the whole series thus far, and we're talking about a series that features Jokic and Harden and Westbrook. Christian Brown had 19 points. Again, I appreciate his lack of hesitance, even if he went 8 for 19 from the field and 1 for 7 from 3. Jamal Murray might just not be built for this lead ball handler shit anymore. I think 2023 might have been a Linsanity run flash in the pan because, like, I don't know. It's not even just that he can't hit open shots. It's that he can't generate them. Like, here's a play here, Rudy, and I'd appreciate it if you would put it on the screen, but if he doesn't, it's his right as a red-blooded American. But this inverted pick and roll between Jokic and Murray in the second quarter results in a switch and two major mismatches. Jokic on a guard, Murray with Zubats on him. Murray just ends up getting a bad mid-range pull-up out of it. Like, that's what you got out of that advantage. Like, that's some very bad decision-making. And I just think there's a lot of other star guards in the same position who would either give that pass to Jokic to post up or would do a much better job of taking advantage of the Zubats mismatch. They also got almost zero bench contribution, 5 minutes from DeAndre Jordan, 2 from Conchar, 6 from Jalen Pickett, and 13 from Watson. 4 total points combined for all of them in 26 combined minutes. Every single starter played 40 plus minutes. Their season was on the line, so I can't blame them for that. I just don't know if that can be sustained throughout the next 3 games of the series. How do I feel about Denver going into Game 5? Well, they're very good at home. They blew that first game, but I don't know if they're going to do it again, especially with everybody having as good of a game as they did collectively. I kind of feel like they're going to win that one, but I don't know. No one's managed to win 2 straight in this series yet, so perhaps they will have to give one up on their home floor. As for some notes on the Clippers, Kawhi has been pretty iffy since Game 2. He had 24 points on 22 shots, a 51% true shooting percentage. I don't know if I've ever seen Kawhi complain for foul calls more in my life than he did in this game. So much so that, like, normally I'm never going to pay any mind to anyone complaining about fouls, like, one way or the other, I don't care. But if anybody is going to be truthful about them getting fouled, it's Kawhi. And I know there was one possession where he got caught on the hot mic under the rim, just laying into a ref. And I was like, man, I'm not used to hearing him raise his voice like that. James Harden had his worst game of the series by far. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. His fourth quarter was much better, but you can't be asleep for 3 quarters and expect to win as the team's lead decision maker. Zubats was great, especially as a playmaker with his 6 assists, lots of dimes on the short roll. Powell had his best game with 22 points and 4 of LA's 10 3-pointers, 3 of which came in the fourth quarter. So that's huge shooting in the clutch, even if it didn't end up getting the dub. Got to give him that credit. Speaking of those 10 threes, that was the same amount that Denver hit, which you might think is okay, like you've matched them in that department, but no, it's bad because 3-point shooting is where this team bests them on the offensive end primarily. Like, not that LA is a slouch on the interior by any means, because you have Kawhi's mid-range shooting, Harden's driving and foul grifting, Zubats being as great of a finisher, both right at the basket and from floater range as he is. But Denver is the superior interior team pretty much entirely because of Nikola Jokic. So if you're going to lose a 3-point battle, you're probably going to lose the game, and they lost. A draw counts as losing it when you're playing the Denver Nuggets, because most of the time when you beat Denver with your offense, it's by out shooting them from outside. Bogey lineup, are they going to be more often now? Like, he actually has to be a legit shooter though, not just in theory. He was 1 for 2 from outside in this one, so that's good. But, you know, is he a real shooter? Is he going to shoot a good bit, or is he just simply going to be spacing? And how many misses can he have before the Nuggets actually start to treat him like a non-shooter? I feel like it would take quite a bit, because he does have a very good long track record, but I also don't think he has much of a good playoff track record, so maybe not. Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. might see some minutes reduction as a result of this game. I don't know. Dunn, the fact that he made it as far into this series hitting the threes that he was at the rate that he was is honestly commendable, but it seemed kind of inevitable that that was not going to last. Speaking of shooting not lasting, Batum being a sniper was a bigger deal than I actually thought in the first couple of games. Like, it was actually a huge leg up, and hopefully he can pick it up again. It was kind of some you don't realize what you have until you lost it shit, because the moment Batum was no longer hitting his threes, I was like, damn, well, that fucking blows. That's a really huge hit. It really felt like way more of a hit than I ever would have expected. Can they win one in Denver again? I am going to say yes, but I don't know. I kind of coin tossed as to who I think is going to win this series. I picked the Clippers. Still feel good about that pick, but I don't feel great about it anymore after this game. I thought I was going to feel really great about it after this game, but Denver still has a championship core. It still has the main guys there, and when Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are in sync, Jamal kind of had a terrible fucking game, but whatever, we'll let that slide, and then Jokic is doing 36, 21, and 8 shit like he's capable of, then they can play at a contender level from a game basis, you know? It's just a matter of it sustaining throughout a series, but hey, maybe they can get 1 or 2 more of those wins to actually make it happen. It is very well possible. But with that said, that is it. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye. Hey guys, I'm adding this now. Because I had to record this shit again, I have to go home. It is 6 a.m. This night has spiraled into a nightmare, so I'm going to head home. I cannot do the Warriors Nuggets recap today. I have been awake for 24 hours. I wrote out all my notes throughout the game. I was ready to sort through it and go get it done, but like I just have nothing left in the tank. I will talk about Game 3 in my coverage of Game 4 on this channel. I apologize for missing that because, believe me, as a Stephen Curry Glazer, I would have loved to talk about that game.